Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's video we're going to be doing brakes for a 2007 Toyota Yaris. This should be the same for any Toyota Yaris from 2005 to 2013. We're going to be doing the front brake pads as well as the rear brake shoes. Today we're only going to be doing the shoes and the pads. We're not going to be changing the drums and the discs, but you'll already have them out, so if you want to do those you can do those at the same time. The front brakes are 17-1184. That's the part number for the front brakes. The rear are a B917. That's the part number for the rear brake shoes. So stay tuned and hopefully you guys can learn something. The first step you're going to want to do is jack up your vehicle. Use the floor jack here. You can put it on jack stands if you want. The next step you're going to want to do is pull off your plastic hubcaps. These are pretty easy. They should just pop straight off. If you want, you can get a screwdriver behind them to help them out, but they've just got little plastic clips. This is an aftermarket one, but the factory ones I'll show you on the front when we get there. So once you've got your plastic hubcaps off, the next thing you're going to want to do is take off the lug nuts. I'm using a 21mm impact socket on my Milwaukee fuel impact to go ahead and take these off. Quick tip, if you put your e-brake on, you can get the rears off without breaking them loose before you take them off. Once you've got your tire off, you'll look at something just like this. Alrighty, so once you've got your tire off, it's going to look something like this. You're going to want to make sure you take release the emergency brake, so that way your shoes aren't in any sort of groove that you may have on your drums. Then what you're going to need to do is get a M8 by 1.25. It doesn't really matter the length. And that'll thread into these two holes right here. And you can tighten these. And you can do a little bit in one, a little bit in the other. And then the drum will start to work its way off. And that's how you get the drum off.
Okay, so now what you're going to want to do is start taking off some of these springs. Sometimes those tools work, sometimes pliers work. So just keep track of where everything goes. Alright, so I got that little horseshoe piece off the upper right. I got the left side off. Keep your springs all where they need to be. Right side comes off. Now if you got the spring kit, you can change out all of these springs. I didn't opt for the spring kit. The only nice part about rear drums is that they go back on the same way that they came off. So you're going to go ahead and just slowly take all the springs off the original ones and start placing them onto your replacement ones the same way. Just double check and make sure you've got the right ones for the right sides. Even on this kit without the entire springs, it still comes with a new horseshoe retainer. I'll go right on there just like that. I'm going to wait before I crush it on there, just to make sure I don't need it off or anything. I'm going to go ahead and do these springs first that hold the shoe back, just so it kind of holds them on there. The other one you're going to want to do is make sure this is still all the way sealed in there before you try to slide it in here. Alright, so those are kind of on where they need to be. I got a couple more springs. I got this one that's got to feed back in here. Yeah, it looks like this piece has to be like that for that one to sit down in it. If that makes any sense. Now the ratchet's on the pawls right where it needs to be. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this one back in. Okay, that looks good there. We've got one more across the bottom. Okay, all the springs are back on. Everything looks good. We need to crush the horseshoe still, and then we need to set the ratchet. So what you're going to want to do is through the oval slot in the back, you'll pop the plug out, take a flathead screwdriver, and what you're going to want to do is run it along that ratchet, and so when you push the ratchet down, it's pushing these shoes out. Because you're going to want to get it so it just starts to rub on your drum. So, see how it's not rubbing? You'll hear it. So I'll do a couple more. See how it's starting to rub a little bit? So you can go a little bit more. Just like that. So we're ready to throw this tire back on. Don't forget your plug in the back. Okay, so we're over here on the front. Just because I'm going to rotate the tires, because these springs are starting to get a little bit worn. So we're going to pop this one off and send it into the back. Yeah, these ones are starting to get a little bit more worn than the ones in the back, so we'll rotate them around. Okay, so I've got the front right tire, so the front passenger side, and now I'm putting this onto the driver's side rear to do an X cross tire rotation. So now they're all tight. I'll go grab a torque wrench. Okay, so the torque is 76 foot-pounds. So we're going to crank this up to 76. I'm going to go set the emergency brake so it'll hold that for me. Alrighty, so the last piece of this is going to be to put the hubcap back on. There's a little notch on this one, which is an aftermarket one, that you're going to line up with your valve stem. And then you're going to push these clips back in, and it should pop right back in. Just a little bit of pressure with your palm to get your hubcap back on. And then you're good to go ahead and lower this side back down and then move over to the other side. Okay, so we're onto the front brakes now. We did one of the rears. We're going to jump over here to the front. The first thing you want to do is take off. There's two 17 millimeters back here that you're going to want to take off. Nice rock falling out there. Another rock. Okay. Now that you've got these out, the pads are pretty simple. You can just push them straight in towards the center, and then they'll pop out. This one you might need to grab a flat head. Just like that. See what we've got for new ones. Looks like new ones come with a bunch of new springs and new pads. I'm going to go ahead and figure out which clips we need to go where. So I like to see if there's any differences between any of them. These have numbers on them. This 23794, 23793. So those look like inverses of each other. I don't know, right there maybe. Looks like they were sitting like that, so the little extra spring pieces was off to that side. So we'll go ahead and just match that on our new guys, like this, and like that. Save the other two for the other side. And then let's start working on these. They make a special tool to push this back in, but you can just use a C-clamp on most vehicles. I've got this little chunk of metal that I use. I made this forever ago. Just slide right in there. I got the piston all pushed back. Let's grab our screwdriver. I doubt these will have the numbers on the back, so you're probably just going to have to match them up with which one you're going to need. Alright, so that'll be that side. That'll be this side. Just like that. is that one. Throw it back in. Just like that. One more to go. Alrighty, now you're ready for your pads to go back in. Same way they came out. So I'm just picking up this little string here. Just push that up so that way you can slide the new one in underneath it. Just like that, and then you're ready for the front one. So push this little spring piece up. There we go. So it was like the top part, this piece wasn't straight in, it was a little crooked, so it was getting caught here, so I just had to push that side back in to get it to fit back in there. So you should have a nice wide gap in here. So go ahead and throw this back on. Okay, so once you've got those two tightened back on there, you're good to put the tire back on. Valve stem. So you're going to look for the valve stem, line that up. Same thing, just light palm pressure all the way around to make sure it's seated in there, and you're good to go.
Okay, so we're over here on the passenger rear side now. We're going to go ahead and get this jacked up here. It should just pop off just like that. If you're in a saltier state, I'm sure that it's going to take a little bit more. Sometimes guys get in and try to kick them from behind. That works too, just make sure your jack's in a good spot. So I got this piece hooked in there like that. Hook this around here and like that. So that's pretty happy before we even get in there. There we go. Okay. That's sitting about where it should be. That's in where it should be. Paul's where it should be. This is kind of pulling out a little bit because it doesn't have this spring holding it in. That's in. Got one more tight spring down here that we gotta do. There we go. Make sure you got all your pieces. Oh, last one is this metal horseshoe piece that we gotta put on up here. There we go. Perfect. Go ahead and pull the rubber plug out of the back. Okay. Go ahead and throw this back on. Alright, so that's all back together now. Since we're rotating tires, I'm going to go grab the one off the front left and then bring that back over here, and we'll go ahead and put that one on here. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the driver's side front tire back here now. Okay, then we'll go ahead and put the hubcap back on. This one's pretty dinged up. Just line up your valve stem with your knot. Just like that, and you're all set. So let's jump over to the driver's side front and we'll go ahead and do that one. Okay, so I've already got the wheel off on this side because I put it over in the back there. You're going to want to take 17, go ahead and break these two big ones loose. Okay, so those two 17 millimeters. And this should slide right off. So just push your brake pads out. Keep an eye on which side went where. So this one had a little spring on the forward side. This one has a little spring on the forward side. So I'll go ahead and put this on the new ones to match that. Just like that. So those two springs now match the ones that we took out. So C-clamp over the top, little piece of metal on the inside to help you push the cylinder evenly. Just matching this piece to that one. So just put the new one in, same way the old one came out. And so these ones came out, you can see where the piston was, so that's why it goes just like that with these springs towards the front. Match it with that. Slide your new one in. One in the back fought me a little bit, but it's in there. I'll
I'll go ahead and do this front one. Whew, struggled with those ones a little bit, but they're in there now. Okay, so I got those two 17, tightening these two 17s back up, nice and tight. Then we'll go ahead and put the tire back on.
Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video on how to change your brakes on a 2007 Toyota Yaris. Hopefully you learned something. Go ahead and leave a comment below, like, subscribe. If there's something you would have done differently, go ahead and put it in the comments below. And stay tuned for some more good videos on cars and trucks and everything else.